Okay, you guys, so we are going to create a 9-point value scale using paint. We're going to use Tempera paint for this one. So Tempera is the one that's spelled like that. Go ahead and choose one of the colors. I chose blue because it's dark and it'll stand out. With the black, because we're doing value is darkness and lightness. When we add black, it's a shade. When we add white, it's a tint. Black is really powerful, so you don't need a lot. You just need a tiniest bit of that. And then with the white, you're gonna need a little bit more white. So do not all the way to the top, just like a quarter's worth. All right. So the first thing is we are going to create 9 shapes. So I'm going to do triangles. You can do a square or a circle or anything you want. So I've got 1, we'll do 2, make sure they're overlapping in an interesting way. This one's not a triangle, that's okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and last one, 9. Okay. So make sure you count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So over here, these will be our tints next to the 1. So over here I'm going to write tint and then highlight. Here's our midtones, and then over here is going to be our shades. So I'm going to write shades, and these are for our shadows. Okay? So, I'm going to be working upside down for you guys. The first thing you're going to do is have your water and your brush, clean brush, and maybe a paper towel so that you can dry off your brush and we're not putting a lot of water into the paint because the paint is already wet. So I'm going to start with my highlights first. I'm just going to scoop a teeny tiny bit of blue over here so that way this stays clean for when I do my shades, and I'll need more blue for my shades. I only need a little bit of blue for my tints. All right. Cleaned off my brush again so doesn't have any paint. So I'm gonna take the teeniest ladybug's worth of blue, and because white is so light, it's gonna change very quickly. So you don't need a whole lot to start. You can always add in more, and I'm going to go ahead and change it. I didn't change a whole lot, but this is also our lightest tint. So I might add a tiniest bit more just so it changes a little tiny bit. You don't want to add a lot. So this is like mostly white, just has a little tiny tinge of blue to it. And then I would paint, get some of that paint off, make sure it's all mixed. And I would paint this first one with my first tint. Trying to practice some brush control. That's why we did the shapes. So make sure it's not sloppy. Try to take your time. Okay. That looks pretty good. You can see that's white paper, and that's definitely not white. That's got a little tinge of blue to it. Okay. I don't need to wash my brush because I'm gonna get this all white anyways, and I already have this saved for my shades when I add in the black. So now I'm just gonna get a little bit more, and I wanna try to change it just a little bit. So if you're not sure, you can always like test it out, and that still looks a little bit too close, so I'm just gonna keep adding a little bit more in. And now that did change. Okay, so that's pretty good for my next one. It's a little bit darker than that first triangle. And you can use a smaller brush if you want to for when you're actually painting it in rather than mixing, but I'm gonna try to challenge myself to do it this way. Okay. So now we've got those two values. So the next one, add in a little bit more. So if you feel like it's not changing a lot, you might need to just like scoop some out and then add in the blue into there. And there we go. A little bit darker. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to add a little bit more blue in to this one instead of that big one. And I'm running out of blue. I didn't scoop enough over. So I'm actually going to wash my brush at this point. Make sure all that white is off. I'm going to scoop a little bit more blue over here. And you'll find that as you start to get towards this area, you start needing to add a little bit more blue in to change it. There we go. So we're getting a little bit closer to that dark blue. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take the rest of this and mix it in. So it ends up being closer to that dark blue now. So closer to the pure color. So the pure color is the color that comes out of the bottle. This is all pure color. These are all tints. I haven't done my shades yet. Okay, so now this is all tints. Okay, so now for shades. So I want to clean off my brush. I'm going to flip this around because I'm not going to use any white for my shades, just the black. Alright, so instead of adding blue into black, we are going to be adding black into the blue. So if you want, you can scoop some over. I like to just have a little bit of reserve just in case I mess up. So now I'm going to add the teeniest, tiniest bit of black, like a little ladybug landed on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to get that into the blue. And it should change it just a little bit. So if you need to add a little ladybug's worth more, that's okay. Just don't add a huge brush worth. Just like a teeny tiny droplet. Okay, and that changed a lot. So I'm gonna add that on as my first shade in number 6. Okay. Boom. All right. Now I don't need to wash my brush because I'm just going to be using this same pile again. So now I'm going to add a bigger ladybug's worth. Not too much. I can always add in more black, but I can't take it out. So just be aware of that. Okay. That looks like it changed, and that's definitely darker. So just do a little test run, and you'll see that it does get darker. Make sure you mix the whole thing up so you don't have it two different shades painting one triangle. Make sure it's all one shade. So you're kind of just gliding the paint across the surface. You don't need to press down very hard at all. Okay, so now it's going to take a little bit more black to change it. So I'm going to take 2 ladybugs worth of black, mix it in. And now we've got a really dark one. It's still blue. I know on the camera it probably looks black at this point, but it's blue. It's just a really dark blue. Yeah, I'll show you up here. See? It's like a navy. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little scoop of black now at this point to get that level 9 shade. Really dark. And we should see a difference. To be almost black at this point. And there we go. So if I hold this up, it's my little value scale of 9. I know this looks black in the camera, but it's actually really dark blue. Okay.